What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Hive Prometheus. So in this video, we're going to go ahead and go into list building for Synaptic Nexus. I hope you enjoyed that intro there. I thought it made sense. If there was a place that you were going to play double Norns, I think it has its home in Synaptic Nexus. It really lends itself to the tough body. I really like Synaptic Nexus. I like that it is more of an elite style army. And it allows you to run some of the tougher bugs in the armies, such as Maleceptors, Screamer Killers, Tyranid, and Norn Emissaries. So let's go ahead and go into our first list here. So here we have Lucas Badgery's Synaptic Nexus list. This is a list that he's been running for a long time. The only thing that has changed is with the recent point decreases to Norns coming down from 275 to 260, he had some additional points to make his Ripper Swarm in the army now become a Biovore, but he's essentially been running this list for almost 100 games or so now, taking this to team events for WTC and running this in singles at RTTs and some larger GT events. He's had some great success with this. One of the things that's a little interesting here is running the double Acid Spray Tyranid. This does well on a Cager style map. I think he's just really kind of learned the ebb and flow of using the Synaptic imperatives with what he has on the field here. The Neurotyrant has the power of the High Mind. It gives her +1 strength and +1 AP to her Psychic Torrent weapon. It's a good Overwatch threat, and it helps to screen out the back line. He has 2 Lictors and 2 Neurolictors, some great infiltrators, and some mission play action monkeys. The Biovore now can actually give him some extra play with secondaries, giving him area denial behind enemy lines and engage on all fronts. The Screamer Killers are here specifically so that they can get +1 to hit, or the invuln, or the +1 to advances and to charges. They benefit from all of the imperatives here, and they also can proc a battle shock at -1 after they shoot at an enemy within 18. Great synergy here. The Maleceptors are good shooting. They are also Synapse that can help when you proc Shadow on the Warp, so that enemy units within 6 inches of them suffer an additional -1, and that stacks with the -1 from the Neurotyrant being on the field. So the Maleceptors, the Neurolictors, and the Norn Emissaries all have a 6-inch radius of -1 to their leadership checks. So there's some really good coverage here on the field. The Acid Fexes here are usually meant for bullying pieces that go up towards the middle. They take early primary, and they're great Overwatch threats to protect those Norns, sort of as the second wave of monsters to come to the objective after you've declared your singular purpose. I really like this list. I don't necessarily play on WTC a whole lot, but if I was going to go to an event and it was only going to be WTC terrain, I potentially would give this a try, even with the nerfed Armor of Contempt, because it only activates for one enemy attacking in the shooting or fighting phase, not the entirety of the phase now. But quick and simple, I think this is a tried and tested archetype, and it looks really interesting. So let's go into the second list here. All right, so here as our second list, we have Amelia Pollard's Synaptic Nexus list. Amelia Pollard has made it onto War Games Live a couple times. I've seen her play this list. This is a little bit of a change-up. She has added some gargoyles and an extra lictor to this list, only opting for 1 Neurolictor in the list, but this is more of a gunline Nexus list. Amelia Po is also running a list similar to this. We have the Walking Hive Turret, full melee with Synaptic Control for -1 damage here. That's our only leader and enhancement. We have a squad of 10 Gargoyles, great for screening, great for stealing primary on for a turn, and potentially protecting your front line from aggressive melee armies. Biovore's here in the list for the similar reason that he's in almost every list. We have triple Lictor and a single Neurolictor as your infiltrating scoring package. We have double Exocrine, single Maleceptor for some quality shooting. We still have some Synapse that helps with the -1 for Battle Shock test when you proc Shadow on the Warp. We don't have the Neurotyrant in this list, but I think that's honestly okay. Majority of your damage is coming from a lot of the gun bugs. We have double Norn Emissary, same as in Lucas Badgery's list previously. And then in this, we do have 2 Tyranid, but they're both running Rupture Cannons instead of Acid Sprays. I think on GW style terrain or terrain that's more open, I think this list lends itself more to being able to reach out and damage things more consistently than just the Acid Sprays. So I think the way that you tune your list specifically for the terrain does matter here. But I really like this list as well. I think this is a good, well-rounded, elite-style list. It still has a lot of our best units in it. It's got our Hive Tyrants, it's got our Exocrines, it's got Tyrannifexes, and the Norns here, realistically, their job is just to sit on primary, score, and if anything comes towards them, you can send out some Meltas or some Blast Shots to deal with chaff or with tanks, and it's got some okay melee to fight off anything that comes and attacks it on an objective. Pretty simple, pretty sweet. I like both of these lists. I kind of keep Synaptic Nexus in rotation for one of the top 2 or 3 favorite archetypes that I like to run, but right now I'm having some fun running Invasion for the first time in 15 months, and I'm going to keep doing that for a little while here. I think generally here the philosophy for these lists is really only to use about 3 of the stratagems in the detachment. You want to use the Armor of Contempt on the Norns, very rarely on the Maleceptors, and then maybe sometimes with the Hive Tyrant if the Hive Tyrant were to get in trouble. Anytime you're going to proc a Battle Shock check, you can do Brain Grenades. You can do this multiple times a turn as long as it's in a separate phase. So you can do one in the command phase if you get a Battle Shock with a Neurolictor. You can also similarly do it again if you get a Battle Shock with a Screamer Killer. I don't know if there's any other abilities to do Battle Shocks in other phases here. If there were a chance that you brought Haraspexes and you wanted to proc a Battle Shock at the end of the fight phase, having concluded a fight and killed a unit, you could potentially do it there. You would just need CP each turn to do it, specifically each phase in order to proc that stratagem. So if you're going to do it multiple times, having that Hive Tyrant within 12 to do it twice, or to have Swarm Lord in the list is also an option, which I have seen previously. But I hope this was at least a little bit entertaining for you and a little informative. Thanks again for stopping by, and I hope you learned something useful today. I'll catch you next time on Hive Fleet Prometheus.